Hello, everyone, and welcome in. It's Aaron St. Denis at FFMadScientist. That is Jeremy Shulman at FF_Rebel, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Universe. I had some harsh criticism from my son who was watching my cringe podcast. He said he notices that every time I go to operate something, you can see me look the other way. And I was trying to explain to him. I said it's because like a normal person is a monitor. Their monitor is like medium size. It's a computer monitor, right, or a laptop for some of them. So it's shifting slightly up. You don't even see it. I'm operating on a big screen fucking TV here. So when I have to look all the way to the right side of my screen to hit the intro, I have to turn my entire head to look at that side of the monitor. Like I'm trying to sit back, but then you can't see me. Like I'm operating this thing on a 55-inch TV right now. So let me tell you, those StreamYard controls on the side, you'll notice like that's me. I have to turn my head completely sideways to see the end of the screen. So
well, I'm the exact opposite. The reason I'm so close here is because I got to read these miniature words on my 15-inch laptop over
here.
I
was gonna say I noticed a lot of people. Dustin was on one time, Ludke, and he said he's just on a little Chromebook, so you don't even notice he's using the camera there. But I'm on a big screen TV, and that's why my camera's at a different angle than yours. My camera's mounted to the top of the TV, looking down. My mic's over here. I've got a completely unique setup here because this computer is set up for gaming and not necessarily podcasting, so it's not ideal, but. Here we are, 2024 rookie sneak peek. Today it's North Carolina wide receiver Devontez Walker. Like I was telling you before, I did these originally because I wasn't sure what order I wanted to go in, especially mixing the IDP guys in for article's sake. So I didn't want to just go by fantasy ADP or whatever. So I went by the PFF big board for their top 300 or whatever. I don't know how Devontez Walker is today, and tomorrow is Keon Coleman, because Keon Coleman is at least a round better than Devontez Walker. But I guess we'll get into them. Like I said, sneak peek, Devontez Walker, wide receiver out of North Carolina. He is from Charlotte, North Carolina, and was not recruited out of West Charlotte High School. Not good. In 2021, as a freshman, he appeared in 8 games for Kent State. I believe that's over near me in the MAC. During that season, he recorded only 5 catches for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. Was completely non-existent at Kent State. Not great. He took a step forward as a sophomore in 2022, where he appeared in 12 games for Kent State, hauling in 58 receptions, 921 yards, and 11 touchdowns. I guess that was enough of a breakout for him because he said, fuck this, and transferred himself over to North Carolina, pair himself up with Drake May, where his numbers took a step back, as you would expect in the step up in competition. Recorded 41 catches for 699 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns in 8 games. Despite the dip in numbers, as you can see on my screen, despite his dip in numbers, he did progress because of the step up in competition. So I don't want to completely say, well, he just regressed. Well, it's 5 times the level of competition. Also, you've noticed on screen, I have the article. If you would like the full written article, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com and check out the full article we have for each one of these profiles, regardless of which video you're watching today. This one, I believe, is written by me. So what's your first takeaway here from Tez Walker?
He's big. He's tall. He's a long strider. He's a deep threat guy. Look, I wasn't too super impressed. I think the biggest thing that I noticed right away is he seems like he takes plays off. That's personally, I don't love that style. I'd like to see a guy who's just going hard from whistle to whistle. With that said, when he turns it on, he's got some juice. He's a massive kind of contested catch guy and has made some amazing plays there. But he is towering over some of the corners when he does that. So I didn't love his tape, but yeah, he's the deep ball guy. And certainly I only saw in the few games I watched, I only saw him run one crossing route. But that looked really good. Like if they can get him in the intermediate area of the field, maybe they can improve on his yak ability. I didn't see a ton of that in the limited tape that I watched, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm messing with my settings here. Our pre-show got me all paranoid with my camera angles and everything. I was watching a show just as you logged in. I'm sure you heard it. Big name show, someone I work for. High quality equipment, but it was bugging the hell out of me. The whole show, he'd be like,
That's about right.
He'd be looking down like he was writing, and then every 3 seconds be like, "Oh, camera, right, camera." So I'm like, I'm trying to focus here on my presence. Sorry. I'm really ADHD today. It's all over the fucking place.
You're good.
All right, measurables. As you can see, 6'3", 79th percentile, 200 pounds for 46th percentile, 22 years old and a junior. So he's a big guy, as you said. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. That's his best strength. He's a big guy.
He's got the body type, and he was catching balls from it was Drake May over there in North Carolina, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so he's getting quality targets, quality balls coming his way. He was able to do a fair amount with them. My biggest issue is, and when I'm thinking about fantasy football, if the guys aren't natural separators, I worry about them, right? He's a little clunky in and out of his cuts and his routes. He's just kind of one of these bigger guys who his feet get in his way when he's trying to make cuts. It's not natural. So, when I look at him, I think Michael Gallup immediately. And, Michael Gallup in his second or third year, was it, before the injury, looked pretty good, but it's only because he was dominating in contested catch situations. And that's what I think about when I think about Walker here, is he's a contested guy, catch guy. He's going to, threaten vertically. We'll see if he can, come in and out of breaks nicely and work on ins and outs and slants to become a more well-rounded wide receiver. But right now, I'm not seeing it.
When I think of him, I see current Calvin Ridley. And if you know me, current Calvin Ridley, not a compliment. This isn't Atlanta Falcons Calvin Ridley. But so we'll scroll down here. We'll get into some of my scouting report. Excuse me. Strength is great in catch and run situations with elite yak. That happens with the big dude. Natural playmaker who is elusive with the ball in his hands, once again, because he's a big dude. Excels at taking the top off of the defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a really good deep threat, and he's a huge guy. Excellent with short area quickness and explosive with great agility in the short. He is explosive, but I feel like every strength I hit on here is paired with a weakness, because he is explosive in the short area. He's just not all that crisp with it. Possesses elite straight line speed. Once again, doesn't always use it properly. Like, I feel like he's got the size and speed. He's got the tools. They need a tune-up.
Agree.
As far as weaknesses, inconsistent at times with his route tree. That's a fancy way of saying he doesn't have a route tree. As you see, his route tree is exceptionally limited, and he operates strictly on the 4 verticals. He's like on Madden when you just keep hitting pressing vertical every route. Needs refinement in his overall route running technique and must develop a more diverse route tree. So once again, it's kind of hammering the same points home, where he's a big guy, he's a fast guy, he's got all the tools. They just really need to be tuned up here. He is a guy who would benefit from one of those teams. I mean, I don't have anyone off the top of my head, but the Rick Spielman type of coach who is really good at getting the wide receivers, up to speed and transitioning to the NFL game, because he seems like he's got potential and all the attributes you would want. They're just really raw and unrefined, and he really needs to, obviously the first thing would be developing a more diverse route tree and really working on running those routes crisply. But for now, like I say at the bottom of my article here, looks like he's kind of a one-trick pony. He's a big Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah. I'm gonna look forward to not necessarily the testing numbers. He seems athletic, plenty athletic enough, but really the drills at the combine. I want to see kind of how he's running his routes, how sure his hands are, and what it looks like for him. Not necessarily like a 3-cone drill, but where he's got to like rotate and catch those fastballs all in a circle and keep going and really just see how he performs, because you'd like to see him really excel there. If he does, I think the rest can come. But like you said, it's just not good enough yet. But that the athleticism is there.
Do you ever watch the show The League?
Oh yeah.
Okay, his combine, I think, is going to mirror. You remember the episode they go to the combine and Kevin runs down the line and does the catch this way, catch that way, and you're supposed to catch it, and he gets hit in the face with everyone. That's what this might look like when he goes to the combine.
Yeah, I agree.
I worry he's going to be one of those guys where I hate the guys that either do all the tests or none of the tests. I hate the guys who cherry pick the tests. I feel like he's going to cherry pick the ones that are showcase his speed and explosiveness, and then he's going to skip out on like the 3-cone where he's going to look like a fool. So
yeah,
we'll move on here. And sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, well, actually, kind of gets into that. So no, go on with the landing spot.
Yeah, we'll cap it out here. I have him as probably late second round. The majority of the mocks have him in the late second round, and as usual, anytime you're a receiver in the end of the round, you're mocked basically to Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore. I chose Kansas City. I think he could probably be a nice compliment to Rashee Rice. Rashee more of I don't want to say slot, but an intermediate guy, whereas I forgot his name already. Walker.
Walker.
Yeah. I went to say Coleman because I've got the prep for Coleman fresh in my mind. Walker is more of the deep threat here. I don't know. What do you think's the best fit here?
Yeah, I don't mind Kansas City. I just, I think you're hoping he becomes Gabe Davis, where he won't be consistent, but he can dominate a game and just be hyper targeted and come down with those contested catches. But he's going to be on the boundary. If he's got someone like Patrick Mahomes, great. I think the worst case for him would be where he goes somewhere where there's a mobile quarterback or a poor line that just doesn't let these plays develop. Not many quarterbacks are going to toss it up to him and trust him the way Dak did with Gallup a few years back. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about in terms of best case. Worst case is, you got someone who's always not open. I'm looking elsewhere, right? You got the Russell Wilson who says, I'm locked on my one guy and it's the other guy. And, I think that would be very easy for him to fall into a situation like that. Places other than Kansas City, Baltimore, I don't hate, right? New Orleans, I thought would also be pretty interesting. You could put him opposite. I mean, I know A.T. Perry looked pretty good, but you could put him opposite Olave and just have him stretch the field. But wherever he goes, he's stretching the field, and he's probably not going to see enough targets to matter, at least in the first couple of years until he develops.
This has got Jalen Hyatt written all over it. It tells you he's easily the lowest of the receivers for me that we've done so far. And tell you how low I am. You said we hope that he's Gabe Davis. I don't ever hope that he's anyone's Gabe Davis, but I hope Gabe Davis would be best case scenario, I think, on Devontez Walker.
Well, we did do Lad McConkey, so
I like McConkey more. I think McConkey's got more.
He's got tools.
He's got that Hunter Renfrow tons of volume, 14 catches for 5 yards per catch volume, where I think I think Walker here is Jameson Williams, Jalen Hyatt, where it's just, find him Joe Flacco, who can just throw up YOLO balls downfield. Like, can we get Ryan Fitzpatrick back? Just throw him deep balls once per series, throw him a deep ball. He's either going to come down with a 50-yard touchdown or he's going back to the bench. So,
yeah.
Agreed. All right, well, that will wrap up our sneak peek of Devontez Walker, North Carolina wide receiver. Head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com for the full written preview of him. And check back tomorrow if you'd like to see the video of Florida State wide receiver Keon Coleman. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Take care.